Hey Rob, welcome to the GAC RMHC Golf Classic. I just want to give you an opportunity here to view your swing at regular speed. We'll let that play on through. We'll put you back in your dress position, and we'll go ahead and take a look at a few things for you. So while we got you back here in your setup, let's first of all take a look at your posture. Now your spine's nice and straight and on maybe a little bit too much of a tilt. Legs come down into a nicely unlocked position. Arms hang down nice and naturally, somewhat in front of you. Club works out to the ball. So ideally, I mean, we'd just like to try and get you maybe to stand just a hair taller. Keep your legs nice and unlocked as they are, and then from there let your arms hang down, perhaps getting your hands a little closer to your legs, and then let the golf club work out to the ball. So subtle refinement in your posture would be ideal. At that point in time, let's go ahead and take a look at your alignment. And what we can see is we can see your feet aiming in this direction here, a little bit closed. We carry that out to the fairway. Now theoretically, your club face is supposed to run parallel to your feet. Parallel lines on camera have an appearance of converging, and even with that slight conversion, we can see that you're probably set up right at the corner of where the fairway and that little body of water where they meet. Okay, so ideally, obviously, we're going to be trying to pull the golf ball or get the golf ball in some way, shape, or form back towards a safe spot on that fairway. Let's go ahead and do a little split screen comparison here between you and Jordan Spieth. Now we've got some color-coded lines on the screen here just to use as a visual reference as it pertains to swing plane. We can see with Jordan, before we go ahead and take a look at your actual physical swing, he is taller in his spine, and that's what I was getting at. His hands are going to be a little closer to him. So just stand a little taller, draw your hands a little closer to you. That would be ideal. Now from here, as we initiate our takeaway, we want to create good shoulder rotation, bring the arms and hands back as well as the club, and we want the club to come back on plane directly along the red line. Through this early part of the golf swing, we also have to establish good wrist hinge into play, where we're going to transition the club right here from being below our hands to now being above our hands. We're now going to bring the golf club from red up towards the blue-yellow V zone. When we finally set the club at the top of the backswing, we simply want to have the left arm and the golf club situated either on the yellow line, anywhere between this blue-yellow V zone, or physically on blue as we see with Jordan Spieth. Upon doing this, we want to make sure we've created full shoulder rotation, and we want to do all this about a very stable right leg, maintaining the posture we achieved at address. Let's go ahead and watch you initiate your takeaway here. Now, unfortunately, you obviously have a tendency of picking your hands up and sending the golf club to the outside, so we're really not letting your hands, arms, and golf club swing around you. So that's something you want to start to do. Let your hands, arms, and golf clubs swing inside. Let them swing around. Don't pick the club up. Don't take it outside. As we continue to move back here, we're continuing to pick the club up even more. At this point in time, your subconscious brain is going to have to say, hey, I got to get this club head in behind my hands. Otherwise, I'm not going to have any power. So let's see if you start to shallow out the club shaft right through here, which you do. Still too steep though. Club has to shallow out even more, and let's see where, and it does. And as we continue to move back, unfortunately your arms are moving into a too steep of a position while your subconscious brain is trying to shallow this club out and get you to a half decent position to be able to come back to the golf ball. Anyways, at this point in time, I mean, you've turned okay, stable right side, maintained the posture. I like the geometry of your arms relative to the core. Unfortunately, you're set too steep, and the club shaft is too steep as well. And what we're going to see here for sure is you're probably going to come into the ball too steep, therefore attack the ball from out to in. Right now, at this point in time, you've got to create a major rerouting with your hands and arms to get this golf club to move from blue back to red, which is exactly what we see with Jordan Spieth. We start our downswing, we move our weight from our right foot to our left, we fire the knees to the target laterally with the hips, unwind the core and fire the hands. But in doing so, we have to bring this golf club from that blue line back down onto yellow, and then ultimately back down onto red, which is where that club originated. And that's exactly what we see here with Jordan Spieth. The golf club is returning right back to being on plane. Okay. The other thing we want to observe at this stage of the golf swing is the relationship between the lead form and the golf club. I refer to this as the backwards check mark. and we can see that right here. That just means the club head right now is remaining above and behind his hands coming into the hitting zone, and therefore he's going to create a lot of power in his golf swing, let alone be able to hit the ball straight due to the fact that the club has returned to plane, as we already pointed out, okay? Which is a main criteria in order to hit straight golf shots and be consistent. So here we go with you. We're in this steep position that we haven't fully turned. Very unlikely you're going to drop these hands and arms inside and get the club to return back to red. So my feeling is your hands are going to come to the outside. They do. They drop down blue. And as they drop down blue, ultimately what you're doing here is you're throwing the club away from you, and that golf club is not going to return back to being on plane. So we can go ahead and track this club coming into the ball, and we're simply going to watch this club continue to come into the ball steep and from over the top. Okay, so here we go. Go to the next frame and the next frame, and we can see if we just connect the dots, there's the steepness to the descending plane. So the golf club is definitely not returning back to the red line. We have vastly different downswing planes, as we can see with Jordan Spieth. Again, the golf club had returned back to plane here, and then as we watch it come into the golf ball, it simply tracks into the golf ball directly from this red line. And as I already pointed out, this is why he hits the ball straight, because the club is on plane, and then he now has the ability to hit the ball straight in accordance to his alignment, assuming lastly that the club face squares up via having a good grip in order to bring all this together. With seeing these completely different downswing planes, we can now take a look at the path of the club, and we can very clearly see that Jordan's club is inside the ball, expands out to make contact, moves through in a nice natural subtle arc. Your club is stuck way outside the ball, dropping down and across to make contact, and is moving on that kind of swing path. So very simply what happens is if we square the club face up to that path, we are going to pull the golf ball quite severely to the left. If we over-release the club relative to that path, not only will we pull it, but what's going to happen now is we're actually going to hit a bit of a pull draw or a pull hook, depending on how much that club face released. If we leave that club face ever so slightly open, then we can block the ball a little bit to the right of where we're swinging, obviously imparting a little bit of left to right spin by keeping the face open, and we can hit a nice sort of soft fade that stays on line. If we leave the club face too open, incredibly, we'll start the ball even further right, considering the fact that we're swinging way left. In that case, the club face had to be wide open. We're going to impart way too much left to right spin. We're going to hit this block slice. So the end result of your golf shot is solely dictated based on the timing of the club face. When that club attacks the ball from the outside, strikes the ball, and moves to the inside, if we square the face, it follows red. Leave the face wide open, follows blue. And if we time it okay, it'll follow yellow, and the shot will turn out. The other thing I want to pay attention to here at impact is that Jordan's right heel's off the ground. Your heel's barely off the ground at that point, so we want to watch the continued foot activity through to the finish and see actually if you actually get to a finish or not. So with Jordan Spieth, what we're going to see is this right heel is going to fully come up off the ground. We're going to get up on the toe of the right foot. All his weight's going to get to his left side. It's going to allow his hips to square around, shoulders to fully rotate, and we're going to see the hands nice and high with the club back in behind him. So beautiful, beautiful finishing position there. With you, we watch you come through here, and we see a bit of a restriction there. You sort of spin out on your back foot. You also spin out on your front foot. So you definitely, what you want to do is you want to learn how to keep your left foot planted exactly where it is. Learn how to bring your right heel off the ground through impact. Get up on the toe of the right foot. Keep the left foot from spinning. And that way you can stand on your left side when you're done. Square your hips up, square your shoulders up. Right now we're spinning out and obviously occasionally going to be losing your balance there for sure. Overall, there's some nice athletic qualities with respect to your swing. I like how your hands work. You draw them back, you fire them through. You got okay turn, you coil back, you uncoil through. We do need better footwork, as we just talked about, to allow you to get through to a better finish. But ultimately, we definitely need to learn how to bring the club back where we turn our shoulders more and get you in a shallower position coming back. So unfortunately, right now we're picking the club up, we're getting too steep, and we're not really turning. That's influencing the downswing where we're coming over the top, attacking the ball from out to in. At that point in time, we really got to manipulate the club face to try and get that ball to go towards the intended target. If we over-release the club based on that swing path, it's going left. Under-release it relative to that path, it's going right. And obviously we can see, unfortunately, it's very difficult to create any form of consistency when we're not swinging the golf club on plane. Okay? Anyways, if at any point in time you ever want to work on these aspects of your golf game, I'm out at Glen Abbey in Oakville. Be happy to structure a program for you. Also, if you're involved with any golf tournaments and all, and you guys are looking for a unique gift to provide to your guests, touch base. Be happy to discuss my swing analysis services. Anyways, I hope you had a great day, and I hope you enjoy again. Again, I hope you had a great day. Sorry, I hit the wrong button there. Hope you had a great day, and again, I hope you enjoy getting an opportunity to see your swing on video.